Draco Malfoy as a Gryffindor. If we were to ask any Harry Potter fan, could they see any possibility of such a scenario ever happening, I genuinely believe that the vast majority of them would think it's absolutely crazy for Draco to be in any other house colour other than green. He was made for Slytherin. But this is Harry Potter Folklore, and this is a theory, and this is why thinking of such scenarios makes being a fan a lot of fun. If Draco Malfoy was sorted into Gryffindor, it's still a sentence that just doesn't sound right, but it does sound interesting. So how would the story change if Draco was a Gryffindor? Well, just like Harry being sorted into Slytherin, too much of the story would change, so I'm going to look at the major factors only. For example, I'm not going to tell you how Draco being a Gryffindor impacts the life of Mundungus Fletcher, if you catch my drift. But what would it impact? What would it change? Well, the first thing that comes to mind would be how disappointed Draco's father would be, for starters. Draco would be the first in generations of the Malfoy family, who've always been associated with Slytherin, by the way, to be sorted into a different house. I think Lucius could possibly look upon Draco differently because of this. What was it about his son that didn't see him sorted into Slytherin like he and his father before him? His pride alone would see him question Draco's capabilities, for sure. And would Draco's opinions and views on blood purity change? Would he still become the bully we know him as? And is it possible that with him being surrounded by less judgmental people, not to say Gryffindors weren't judgmental, but not in the extremist way that the majority of Slytherins viewed magical stature, and yes, I'm well aware that there are many good, decent Slytherin house members, that Draco could see things a little differently. He spent so much of his life being told to view things in a certain way, and I think the circle of Slytherin students, whose parents were also associated with Lucius, gave Draco complete reassurance that his behaviour and views were justifiable. However, in Gryffindor, I really don't believe that would be the case. Now, I do think after their previous altercation, Draco and Harry would still be originally hostile towards each other regardless of being in the same house. However, it's still early days, so Draco would do exactly what he did in Slytherin, create his own group of bullies, students he'd carefully select and possibly manipulate, just as his father did among ministry employees. So for the first year, I really can't see any change in his attitude nor his relationship with Harry. I can also see him voice his displeasure at his humiliation at being the first of his family to be sorted into a house that wasn't Slytherin. After the Chamber of Secrets, and due to the fact Harry and Draco shared a common room, it's highly likely that the two may have clashed over the fact that Harry was still livid with Lucius Malfoy from his involvement with planting the diary on Ginny Weasley. Harry can't tend to keep his mouth closed during confrontations, so it's no doubt he'd informed Draco exactly what he thought of his father, to which Draco would firstly deny and then go on the attack. I think the Gryffindor house would start to divide in terms of opinion over who's the more favourable wizard, as popularity in Hogwarts really does have its perks. And what about the Quidditch seeker position? Would Draco have competed with Harry, especially if Lucius had bought the team Nimbus 2001s? Or even worse, could this gesture from Lucius have bought his son the seeker position, leaving Harry relegated, frustrated and extremely angry? As interesting as the Prisoner of Azkaban book is, Draco and Harry would see little of each other in this story. The exchange of insults back and forth maybe, but I do think this would be a year that Draco would realise that there are bigger things happening than whether it's okay to be pureblood or not. With Gryffindor House having a good amount of Muggleborns, he'd begin to realise that they are not so different from him. I think it would take an act of kindness by a Muggleborn, even Hermione Granger for example, to open Draco's eyes to some extent. But his family's views would combat and quash his realisation. However, the seed of doubt would have definitely been planted. It's only around the time of the Goblet of Fire that Draco's attitude would really begin to change. Out of everyone, and from what his father would have told him about the Triwizard Tournament, I don't think he'd believe Harry genuinely put his own name in the goblet. As much as he disliked Harry, he knew he was honest. Draco would reluctantly get behind Harry as the other Gryffindors did, but he'd use the excuse of supporting his school instead of Harry himself. He does like the spotlight, but after seeing the danger of the tournament's tasks, he would respect that the threats each champion imposed upon themselves were great. It would be Voldemort's return that would see Draco be used to an advantage, as it would only be Harry who had suspicions that he had become a Death Eater. Draco would jump on the anti-Potter bandwagon, claiming Harry had accused him of being a Death Eater, making Harry appear even worse as he had no proof. but it's also throughout the 5th year that I believe Draco will be given an assignment by the Dark Lord to befriend Harry, get close to him, and discover the Order's plans. It's at this point where I believe the Dark Lord would have made a crucial mistake on both ends, as Draco and Harry putting their bitterness aside would affect his mindset as it once did from Hermione's act of kindness in year 3. Not that it would have been easy for Draco to get even close to Harry's circle. I think Draco would have taken a direct approach and been straight up with Harry about burying the past, as Harry would have respected that more. The boys, including Ron, would have slowly taken to Draco, with Hermione keeping a distance, knowing his derogatory opinion of Muggleborns. I then think the turning point would come as there would be a moment where Draco would openly invite her over by saying something like, "Oi, Granger, you gonna sit your own then? Maybe I'm wrong about you." Is he being sincere though? I'll let you, the viewers and subscribers, decide that one for yourselves. As the 4 students seem to be on decent terms, Draco will begin to mend the cabinet as he had throughout his 6th year, but with a level of guilt building up as he'd be betraying people he'd actually began to like. It would be extremely difficult and stressful for Draco to hear Harry talk about Dumbledore in such a light, knowing that he had been assigned to assassinate the headmaster. As Draco's stress became more visible, so would Harry's anxiety around him. Harry would begin to suspect something was different. It's only when he'd follow Draco and discover he was mending the cabinet would Harry finally confront him. This would cause a huge argument between the two, with Harry's correct assumption it was Malfoy's intention to let people into the castle. The boys would not speak from there on, and Snape would cover for Draco in any attempt from Harry to expose him, as to not interrupt he and Dumbledore's plan for the assassination, which would further frustrate Harry. Things would pan out as they did with Dumbledore's death, and Harry's shift would be to his disbelief of Snape murdering the headmaster. Draco at this point had decided enough is enough, but would still unwillingly remain a Death Eater. He would deeply regret his actions, and after his altercation with Harry, Draco chose to take Crabbe and Goyle with him to the Room of Requirement in the normal storyline. However, this time he went alone. There was no Fiend for her, and Draco would say, "Potter, you! How could you even stand there after? I'm sorry. You have no idea about the choices I've had to make." "Choices? Yeah, I do. Like the ones you made that led the Death Eaters into the castle." "You don't understand, Potter. He'd have killed me. And my parents too. Was any of it real? The person who told Hermione to come and sit with us that day. Was it actually you?" "Of course it was. Potter, listen to me. You have to destroy that thing. It's the only way to what? To kill him." "Yeah, we've been hunting these Horcruxes for ages now. In case you didn't know, that's what they're called. Just let me help. Please." "He's being sincere, Harry. He wouldn't have come here otherwise." "Mate, let him help. Look, just get your parents to safety for now, but you need to decide who you're fighting for. The time for talking is long gone." When it came to Draco making the decision on whether to stand and fight in the courtyard, he would actually refuse to rejoin his parents, much to Voldemort's dismay. And if you would like to see the full video on what would happen if Draco refused to join his parents, the link is in the description below. Harry would then shock the Dark Lord by revealing he is indeed still alive, and Draco would fight on again against the very people he once stood beside, showing the true bravery and courage that comes from being a Gryffindor. Thank you very much for watching today's video, everyone. This video took a very long time to make, at least 5 days just to get the script right alone. So I do appreciate if you like this video and feel it deserves it, give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you really like the video, then feel free to share it on your Facebook or through your Twitter page there as well. And please continue to leave your video suggestions in the comment section below. It does mean the world to me to see what you guys think, what videos I should be making next. And as I always say, your choice could be next. And if you haven't already and feel I deserve it, then give this channel a subscribe. Harry Potter Folklore for more Harry Potter content. Guys, thank you very much for all the support you've been giving me over the last few weeks. I really do appreciate it. We are closing in on the last 10,000 subscribers before we reach that milestone of 100k. I cannot even begin to contempt how much this actually means to me. So let's get in the last 10,000 subscribers. Thanks again for watching, guys, and have a great day.